No, I definitely know what you mean too, and I think in some cases too, it does have like a toll on people who lived together like before too in the past. Like whether it's like knowing from high school too, or from like college, or from like meeting up at like bars and all that. So and then you have your friends like move away to like further areas where you might not even have time to like access like to meet them and all that, or just to even like hang out for like a beer and all that. So,
Trust.
do you feel like it's harder to even reconnect with like old friends who've moved away to like certain places like throughout Ontario or throughout Canada in that sense, or like even in the world?
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely like a citywide exodus. People realize city life wasn't it, and a lot of people realize they could work from home and dip. Um, a lot of my friends moved out of the city just because it was too expensive. Uh, City limits themselves is trying to limit us, right? So I always kind of noticed just that like when I had moved here from Montreal, there was like a stark difference in terms of like everyone's social etiquette, and I realized after being here for a minute that it was due to like the difference in rent, because in Montreal it's like people are a little less guarded because if you stumble upon another English speaker, you're like, oh, hey, what up? You're not going to yell at me in French, and it's very like, hey, how's it going? Versus here, it's like everyone speaks English, but everyone assumes everyone else is a serial killer because we're all stuck at home watching the news, trying to pay for shit, too tired to go out. I guess is my assessment. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not trying to speak for all of Toronto. I just noticed that there was less joie de vivre, joy for life, and it made it difficult. And I realized it was because the rent was like a good fucking $500 more expensive. Like I had a good, I had a two and a half back in Montreal that was 20 minutes from downtown, and my half of the rent was $375. I would never in a million years find that shit here. So yeah, that changes you. It changes what you allocate your time to, what you prioritize, and if money is always the focus, then who's got time for friends and shit, right? So I've noticed that like as we raise the prices of everything and inflation goes higher, we're all gonna get a little more cutthroat, and a lot of our interactions are gonna become more transactional, unfortunately, which I don't like and I don't think is cool. I think it's fucked up, and I want to move to a small town. So that's how I feel.
So to get back on like a lighter note and all that, so you've mainly worked with Fresh Kils throughout the whole like studio process, from working at the original No Damn Good like studio to now here. So how did you guys link up by any chance, and what was like working with him like, and what was like some advice or lessons that you guys learned from each other that you both implemented in your music now?
Kills has been like the OG for forever, and I always wanted to work with him. And when I moved to Toronto, our mutual friend, I think it was SRH, put us in touch. And shout out to Benny Mayne. He goes by Benny Mayne now. Yeah, he put us in touch. We linked up for a couple sessions. And I was just there as like a fly on the wall kind of thing, or like working on some stuff. And then eventually that relationship morphed into me actually running his studio for him when he was out of town. So I used to go over to his place because he had a spot, right at Wellesley, and I would record, a bunch of his clients while he was out of town and hold it down and fix things and run the studio. And that just sort of turned into like a partnership where it was like, mutual respect built there, and also 5 years down the line when we re-linked up and I had my own spot and I was looking for like a studio partner, I was like, hey, what's good? And that time that I had put in way back when, interning and such, pay me back now because we have a spot that we share mutually. And it's like, I don't even think about it in terms of like I just see this as like I'm going into the office today kind of thing. But like, I got to tap in with my younger me and be like, hey, younger Myer, did you know that you co-own a studio with a Canadian rap legend right now? That's pretty hardcore. You'd probably be very stoked about that if you found that out. So, you gotta fucking appreciate the flowers and shit. And like, I'm grateful for Kils. He's brought so much gear to this situation. We got vinyl. He brings wisdom. He's part of the reason why I started feeling secure enough to drop shit myself, because he's always been very like positive of my mixes and shit. So yeah, that that kind of gave me a little bit of the oomph I needed to start dropping things for me. And we'll have these co-working sessions where he's working on something in the chair, I'm working on something over here. Put the headphones on, take the headphones off, show each other what we're working on. It's there really is something to be said for having like more than one person in the room when you're creating, for sure.
Most definitely. Mind if I ask, who were some like dope artists that you've had like in the studio before, like just recently in that sense?
Recently, so Jordan was supposed to come through. We've had Dio come through. We've had Icy in the new spot. I think Junia-T came by the other day. Kils is bringing in a lot of the heavy hitters. I know Decisive came through. As for me on my end, I had Skevious in the other day. We got Trophy Kid Diz coming through. Trying to get Boney in for another session. Might do some shit with Danielle. Yeah, it's pretty much like what we do is we charge $60 an hour, and anyone who wants to come through and lay some vocals down. My selling point is that, I'm like your rapper engineer, right? Because like the thing that I found when I was looking for an engineer, and part of the reason why I do shit for myself is like, it's hard to find someone with the ear for the lyrics and like how that shit lands, in terms of like the pentameter and the tempo of it and all. So once you find an engineer who's got that like sensitivity to that and can actually be like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be vocal heavy performance because it's rap music, you appreciate that is what I'm trying to say, and you pay extra special attention to detail. And you might even like, sometimes someone will be in the booth spitting shit a certain way. I'll be like, what if you said it like this, because it'll flow a little better. And it's that kind of input that sets you apart. Sorry, I totally steamrolled that question though. I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, who's coming through? Yeah, my people.
In the past too, like who else came by like way before? I know you said like Ice the One, you said Junior, you said Dio, you said like all these other names too. So I don't know if you've had like other ones like when it first opened for a bit.
Oh, I mean I know back in the Heavy Ox days we had like Coleman Hell come through, which was pretty big. I know Callie from Bad Waitress is gonna come through soon. We actually used to work together for Snap Hook. A lot of people have been through over the, well, not here so much, but like at the other spot. Yeah. Names are escaping me right now. We had IMV come through. Corey Lee came through, which was major. Yeah, just like lots of dope talented people, and we want to bring more dope talented people through.